Alrighty, folks, we're back for another episode of the Tacho Show, and today we've got a special video lined up. So I did this before in the past. I did a single skill that you can inherit on a unit to massively increase their power. Basically, the perfect skill inheritance that you can give to select units. We've gotten a lot of new skills and a lot of new characters since the last time I did one of these. So without further ado, why don't we just hop right in? I've got the wiki opened in case we need to reference something. So we're going to start things off with Legendary Crom, a unit who has lived longer than a roach. I mean, this guy, he was incredible on release. He lasted for a very long time. When he was finally starting to taper off a little bit, then he got his remix and he came back to fruition. So one of the better skills you can give him, pretty much I would say his best A skill at the moment, is Close Bonus Doubler. He's already giving himself Bonus Doubler off of his assist when he uses Reposition. So this is double instances of Bonus Doubler. Then it's also giving him Close Counter as well. It's going to augment all of his stats by whatever active bonuses he's got. So if he's at all stats up 6, then it's just all stats up 6. And he's also a stat ball as well with his weapon effect, or was it his weapon or was it his assist effect? I can't remember. Whichever one it is, it's giving him a lot of bonuses based on how many active bonuses he's already got. So properly supported, this guy is going to be an amazing stat ball, and Close Bonus Doubler, I would say, is probably just better for him than Attack and Speed Prime 4, which is what people were running prior. The reason why is because the upkeep on Bonus Doubler is just way easier. I've seen people incorrectly say that you need to be in 2 spaces of an ally to get Bonus Doubler. Are you out of your mind? Like, this is still Bonus Doubler. You realize that, right? So, like, as long as you've got active bonuses on the unit, they're just going to be doubled. Like, you don't need to be in 2 spaces. That's only if you want to reflect bonuses on an ally in 2 spaces. In the event that the enemy has a lull type of effect where they're nullifying your bonuses, you can steal bonuses from your ally instead to use those. That's the only reason you'd want to be in 2 spaces with this, but otherwise you can be wherever you want with this skill and still get the bonuses. I don't know why people are, like, missing the memo on that. So there we go with Legendary Crom. Next up, we've got Ashnard over here. I've actually had the honor of fighting this guy at plus 10 with this particular skill in Summoner Duels before, and he is, like, damn near unkillable. So, Wyvern Rift, basically the big brother of Wyvern, what was it, Wyvern Flow, or whatever, like Flow Flight. I can't remember the exact name of that one, but it's the B skill that grants you non-pierceable DR based on a stat check. So what you have to do to get this one to work is your combined speed and defense has to be better than the enemy's combined speed and defense minus 10. So you're getting a 10-point bonus in favor of you for the stat swing. His speed isn't the craziest, but his defense is pretty solid. So you combine those 2 things, and you're also getting 10 stats for free. It's not that difficult for him to activate this condition. And then after that fact, it's going to do 35 points minus his defense, and then whatever the difference is, you're going to be gaining that as true points of damage and also true points of damage reduction. The damage reduction works on the enemy's first hit and their second if they have a Brave type weapon. So it's Brave Attack DR that's non-pierceable. Very powerful stuff, especially with his really insane refine that's doing so many support effects and also just making him better in combat. Awesome stuff there. Okay, next up, we've got the Bunny Sylvain. So this guy, of course, he's just a rally bot, and you want to give him skills that play up the fact that he is a rally bot. So we've got Speed and Defense Ruse here. He's going to run in. He's going to pop his rally skill to buff an ally. He's also buffing himself by giving him an extra action, so you get a better positioning. You're getting a lot of action economy out of that for Summoner Duels. And then he's also giving himself special acceleration per attack and the Brave Attack effect while he does it. So then he can then move in after doing the rally and debuffing the foes, and then he can attack them, Brave Attack them, and then no quarter them to delete whatever he hits. Pretty self-explanatory combo. There's a lot of other rally bots that can gain an extra action after rallying, like Annette after her refine, and also I think it was Sane from FE7. When they use rallies, they also get an extra action, but Sylvain is certainly the best out of the bunch, I would say, mainly because he's a cavalry melee type, and he's also an insane damage dealer. So the game right now is very favorable to these cavalry units that can do all of that. Sane is not competing with this guy on damage, and then Annette, unfortunately, being the melee infantry that she is not going to have the same amount of reach, although she can still be very effective with the skill. Alright, next up we've got Validar, who is a free-to-play Grand Hero Battle unit. His weapon was like so perfectly tuned for attack and speed ploy 3, and once we finally got it, it was the perfect thing to give him. His weapon's doing defense and res -6 on the foes that are in his target reach. I think it's 3 rows and 3 columns centered on him. Then he's also doing a bunch of other effects as well. I think he does Panic and Discord, so another Panic at the Disco unit right here. And Ploy is going to inflict Ploy as a status effect, and then also Exposure, so you're gaining a lot of bonus damage with him. His weapon also gives you a lot of bonus damage based on the amount of debuffs the enemies have. So just a wonderful combination there for him. Next up, we've got Freya, my favorite character in the game. So, of course, Freya's remix was really solid, and it turns her into an excellent user of Gale Force. She's getting -1 special trigger, and she also nullifies guard. So the only real thing Freya was missing here was special acceleration on hit, and that's where attack and speed wild comes in. It's giving you attack and speed up 7, giving you the acceleration on hit, and then it's also giving you 7 healing after combat, which isn't the craziest, but it's nice to just be getting. So definitely a awesome skill to be giving to Freya, and also you get it from her auntie, which is pretty awesome. Auntie Freya helping out the niece Freya there. All right, next up we've got, well, okay, I was going to show Merck first, but we have Hinoa up first here, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at Assassin Strike with her. Now, what's good about this is that these flying range units don't really have a good DPS option for the B skill. Same goes for ranged calves and ranged flyers. Like, they've always been shafted in terms of damaging B skills. So Assassin Strike comes in right there. You can't give her like Tempo 4 or Physical Null Follow-Up to cut DR, but the next best thing is melt damage. So Assassin Strike doing the 7 chip damage if you initiate, and then also giving you 20% bonus damage on your attacks based on the enemy's defense in this case. You're going to be able to add a lot of DPS to Hinoa, who is already pretty much able to bully the enemies by her Fire Sweep effect. So you're hitting them twice in a row, essentially, unless they have Null Sea Disrupt. And you're getting a lot of bonus damage out of Assassin Strike. I would say you want to focus on giving this to your Brave attacking units, because they're going to benefit from it the most with the 20% bonus damage, as well as the 7 chip damage at the start of combat. But this can work on units that can just attack a bunch of times for free, and the enemies have no response. Also, as I said, flyers and calves that don't have a better B skill. Alright, next up we've got the Ninja Camila, who we're going to go ahead and show off the opposite skill to. So Occult Strike does the same thing as Assassin Strike, except this one works for res. So 20% of the foe's res is going to be added as bonus damage. What's interesting about it on Camila is that she has a dual phase Brave weapon, and she also has built-in Vantage, which is... Vantage is really strong right now in the meta with all the AoEs and all of the like melting, damaging effects that we have going around. So having Camila being able to counterattack on the enemy phase, then she's getting 20% bonus damage based on the enemy's res. She's also doing the speed and res -4 debuff to the foe, so she's doing a little bit more damage. She's not going to get the 7 chip damage if she initiates, if she uses the Vantage portion, unfortunately. But that's perfectly fine. We're still getting 20% bonus damage based on the enemy's res, so that's going to add up to a lot of extra damage. Res, out of nowhere, became the new speed stat that everyone's trying to stack. So, very awesome DPS option for her. Alright, next up, we've got the legendary Elencia. Now, this is one of the most unfair things ever. What was everyone's complaint with Elencia when she first released? It was the fact that she had no way to deal with damage reduction, right? So, what do? They give us a special that nullifies damage reduction on these melee type units, and it's the perfect skill to give her. She's got aerial maneuvers, so she can warp in and hit the enemies 4 times in a row with her Brave attack. She's already nullifying enemy guard, and then you get to your no quarter, and it's an automatic nullification of enemy DR. With the -1 special trigger, and if you wanted to, you can get a lot of other ways to like get special acceleration on her. You could end up hitting the foes 4 times in a row, and like 2 of those hits could be no quarter. So it's just a really unfair skill to be giving an already unfair unit. Alright, next up we've got the Springtime Mirabilis. Now, That is a very well-placed name tag there. Cover yourself, Mirabilis. It's spring. It's Easter. No one needs to see so much skin on Easter. So the reason why this unit is awesome with this skill here, so Speed and Res Crux, it's a new skill that was introduced on the very banner that Mirabilis came out on. What it does is it's like a souped-up rain skill, basically. All enemies within 3 rows and 3 columns centered on the unit are going to suffer a guaranteed follow-up. So it's a cheeky way to just give people guaranteed follow-ups while they're fighting nearby to Mirabilis. And then it also does, I think it's Speed and Res -4. Was it 5 or was it 4? I think it's 4, right? So Speed and Res -4, enemies suffer guaranteed follow-ups, and then you also... Was that it? I think that might be it. Hold on, let's just double check here. Make sure I'm not spouting nonsense. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Speed and Res -4, 3 rows and 3 columns, and then also suffer. Yeah, the foes are going to suffer, all right, if they're playing this game. So they suffer guaranteed follow-ups. That combos really nicely with her weapon, which already has a debuff effect based on 3 rows and 3 columns. I think it's attack, speed, and res -5. Hold on. I don't have this Mirabilis that fresh on the mind yet because she just released. Let's just quickly reference her so I'm not, again, spouting nonsense. Yeah, so here we go. If a penalty is active on any foes in 3 rows and 3 columns centered on her, she's doing attack, defense, and res, not speed. So attack, defense, and res -5 and guard as well. Combos nicely with the Crux effect because she's already needing to be within 3 rows and 3 columns anyway. So you're getting even extra debuffs there, and then the guaranteed follow-up. You could further buff this by giving her like Firestorm Dance. So, or is that what it's called? Firestorm Dance? So, or Fire Sweep Dance, whatever it's called. You go ahead and you dance, and then you're getting guaranteed follow-ups, and you're also getting the foes suffer guaranteed follow-ups. So it's a pretty easy way to like just get 2 hits in a row on whoever you support. So very awesome stuff there. And finally, for this page, we have the Ascended Merck that we just recently got. His B skill, he came with a split seal skill, which, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the seal. They're okay, like the gold border seal skills were okay, but not compared to some of the stuff we have going around now. And certainly on this guy, not comparable to Desperation 4, because if he attacks the enemies twice in a row, he instantly ramps into Sacred Wind, and it nullifies enemies' DR. It's giving him a massive bonus to damage. It's 40% of his speed. And then it's also recovering allies' HP by 20 points after combat. All allies. So, a nice little way to get some healing. Also, a nice way to add some DPS to him. And the Desperation effect, of course, letting him hit twice in a row with that is pretty strong. So, there you go for Merck. Now we're moving on to our final page here. So, we got Pon over here. He's another Grand Hero Battle type unit. We've showed off quite a few of them. We had Validar, and also we had Ashnard. So we're going to go ahead and give this guy Speed and Defense Tempo 4. It cuts damage reduction in half on every attack. He's got a Brave weapon, so that's perfect. Then it also gives him the Tempo effect, so he can nullify enemy guard. His weapon's already giving him special acceleration per hit. So with this combo, you can cut DR and easily access any special you want with him. And then whatever that may be, like Rupture the Sky is probably what I would recommend. You can end up hitting the enemies with that. Can further get insane if you've got support on him to get like Desperation, like with Firestorm Dance. So easy way to just clobber the enemies with this guy. So he's a nice DPS option despite being a Grand Hero Battle. Alright, next up, this should be like the most obvious thing in the world. So Atun Kata, she just recently came out. Godlike reflexes, I mean, hello? This should be a no-brainer for everyone. Already, she's an attuned hero, so giving it to her means that she can duplicate it for you. And then on top of that, it's just like the perfect thing to give her. It's giving her non-pierceable DR when the unit already has a ludicrous amount of non-pierceable DR from her B skill. What is it, 24 points of non-pierceable DR? Like true DR based on her bonuses? So, you combine that with godlike reflexes and you get an unkillable beast. So there you guys go with this Atun Kata. Okay, here's a funny one. Yeah, we've been looking at all these gold border skills. Yeah, tier 4, 300 SP. Who needs that? Day 1 Vantage 3, right? Why not? So here we go with the Duo Byleth. Now, one of the major weaknesses to this unit as a far save option is that they have no real protection from AoEs on their base kit. We can quickly load up their base kit real quick. So, Weaving Fighter doesn't offer protection against AoEs. It's only for in-combat damage. So, the attacks that the enemies are hitting you. If they've got an AoE, it's still going to go through this. It's not giving you DR against that, unfortunately. Neither does any of his other effects. So, what we can do is just go for Vantage. And if you're hitting him with an AoE and you're getting his HP below 75%, then he's just going to counter you immediately with Supreme Heaven, which nullifies DR, and he's going to clap whatever hits him. Very, very nasty combo. This has been going around quite often. It's one of the ways you can counter Duo Leon, because he's going to do a lot of chip damage to you, but you get the Vantage off. This Byleth has the clutch Null Sea Disrupt, so even Fire Sweep units are not going to be able to take advantage of him. So he's getting, like, true Vantage here. And then he pierces DR. A lot of the offensive... I was going to say offensive tanks, but a lot of the offensive threats right now are reliant on damage reduction to protect themselves. So if you're able to pierce that on a far save unit with Vantage, it's going to be really hard to initiate on this guy. So really awesome combo there. And of course, his duo skill, if you want to pop that, it can give him Hex Blades so he can get adaptive damage as well to just add some more DPS. It also gives him protection from AoEs, but it's not as foolproof as just running Vantage because it's only going to be for one turn. So there you guys go there. Okay, next up we've got Hortensia, who is... this unit is actually a nightmare to deal with, and it's all because of her C skill. So you look at this unit, she's a flying... she's a flying attuned hero, or a flying arcane hero. So normally, what does that mean? We want to give her like Guidance 4, Soaring Guidance, so she can duplicate that for us. But Insys was like, nah, let's give her a unique C skill, so even if you gave her those skills, she's not going to be able to use them for herself. Now, her unique C skill has one of the sickest debuff effects ever, and it's also a buffing C skill too. It's giving all your allies within 3 spaces Canto 1 and attacking speed of 6. Then it's also debuffing the nearest enemy wherever they are on the map. Unlimited range. They're going to get debuffed by... what is it? Like, hold on. Let me pull it up so I'm not, like, lying to you guys. Alright, I know she does Panic, and she also does, like, Discord as well. Another Panic at the Discord unit. Okay, so it's Speed and Res -6, and then Panic and Discord. So, quite a lot of debuffing there, considering it's unlimited reach, and then also it chains to enemies that are in 3 spaces of the target. Quite a powerful debuff. So, what do? We just give her Soaring Echo. The only Echo skill we're looking at on this whole list. I'm not the biggest fan of Echo skills, honestly, but this one in particular I think is pretty disgusting. Obviously, Soaring Echo. So you give this to her, and then she's also providing warp support, while providing debuff support, while providing support with, like, Canto 1. And then, if you wanted to, you could give her, well, she's got Rescue. You could give her, what is it called again? There's a healing assist that neutralizes penalties. I can't remember. I think it's Restore, right? Restore Plus. If you wanted to give her that too, then she could also support the team by neutralizing any penalties on a select unit per turn. So, a very awesome supporter. She can be a solid damage dealer as well. So, there you guys go. And then the final unit we've got here is the Ninja Zelgius. We're giving him Special Spiral 4 so he can loop Lightless Luna over and over. We've been doing this with, like, all the Zelgius and Black Knight units. Just ramp right into Black Luna, or in this case, Lightless Luna, or Eclipse, as it should be called. And then you just cut their defense by 80%. And then you're also nullifying DR, and then you just clap them in the face and blow them up. So, a very powerful skill, especially on a save-type unit that you can turn this guy into. Near save or far save, it doesn't matter. You get the non-pierceable DR on this effect, regardless of what the enemy's range is. So it's certainly better than Armored Blaze and Armored Flow and such and such. So there you guys go. That wraps us up for one particular skill you can inherit on any of these units we showed off that will massively increase their power. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. This is your boy Tasho signing out. So take care, fellas, and I'll catch y'all again on the flip side.